What's the importance of exploring these wonderful adventures that happened after May '68? I mean,
well, what was exciting about it is basically that no one has really done it. It's at least, you know, in French. In the French subconscious, May '68 is the important moment, and whatever happened afterwards is the aftermath. It's kind of blurred, you know. It's basically analyzed as like the fading of the energies of May '68, and that's not the way I remember it. I was there at the time. I was a teenager, and it was quite the opposite. I think there was just this extraordinary energy. There was a freedom because May '68 in France had opened doors, and you know, all of a sudden everything was possible, and it was great. It was extraordinary, and it was also very scary.
Do you think we have had a similar movement more recently, or it's so unique?
No,
to the history?
it's today you have again this energy of youth that believes it can change the world, also, but also because the world has become so violent, so selfish, so ugly in many ways. It's much worse than whatever it was in the 70s and what we were rebelling against. So yes, I mean, you know, you have Occupy, you have Pussy Riot, you have, you know, Indignados, well, you know, whatever. But at least it's happening again. I mean, just youth do believe that they have power. They can have an effect on society. In the 70s, the difference is that we did not want to have an effect on society. We wanted to destroy society. We wanted to turn it upside down. We wanted to you know, we had this faith that they would that a revolution was coming that would just change the world in ways that had never really happened before. Of course, it was crazy utopia, but it felt real at the time.
But I do think that some things changed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, of course, of course.
Sexual relationships, men and women, gays.
Everything changed.
Racism.
Absolutely. It's you know, I think, you know, it's the reason why it's absolutely debatable if those revolutions failed or succeeded. In many ways, they succeeded. They did change the world. The world was never again like before. So and in very deep ways. I mean, so in terms of including the relationship of the individual with society, it kind of empowered individuals in a certain way.
How important is it to open this film in America, considering that many of the Americans don't know about May '68, but they know about Berkeley, let's say?
Yes, it's been the same thing more or less everywhere. It was more violent in France. It was more extreme in France because, you know, in France it kind of came close to being an actual revolution. Nothing completely of the sort happened elsewhere, but ultimately the process was the same. The process was the same, and it's really something that was shared. It kind of strikes me because when I'm making this film, I'm being extremely specific, you know, because there's a part of it which is historical reconstruction. So I have to get it as precisely as I can. And I said, oh, you know, there's so much stuff that has to do specifically with France. And now I realize that basically, in a way or another, it was the same thing all over. The difference is in the mix. Meaning, in France, 90% was leftism and 10% was counterculture. In other countries, it was quite the opposite.
So it's as well a great tribute to innocence, I think, through the movie.
Oh,
the
yes.
characters are very innocent. They're in love. It's an adolescent story as well.
Yes, because of course, what we that generation, like any generation, had, you know, was concerned with, you know, when you have that age, you're concerned about finding your identity, finding your place in the world, finding the meaning of whatever you want or whatever you're trying to become, to do with yourself. The difference is it was in times of chaos, so it was kind of more, it was kind of more extreme, but there was the same openness. You know, you don't have, when you are that age, you don't have any preconception. You have your eyes open. You try to understand the world that is around you. And what was interesting, and we had that candor, we had that innocence, which is the absolutely correct word. Looking at things that were like far from innocent, which were, you know, the political ideologies, and again a world that was in turmoil.
Last question. If I'm not mistaken, this is your 14th film, I think.
I can't count.
Okay, but there are a lot of films out there. What brought you into filmmaking? Why did you use filmmaking?
Well, you know, after a while, you realize that it's the only thing you're good at. You know, it's the only thing you know how to do. I mean, you know, I don't think I could be there's no other decent job I would be able to make. Initially, it just starts because movies are fascinating. You know, movies are. I mean, the reason why. I mean, I had this kind of artistic calling. I wanted to become a painter, and the reason why I was not a painter or a novelist or whatever is that I don't like the solitude of creation, and I think that the beauty of movies is that they are an art, but they are also open on the world, and they are about things you share, also with the crews you are working with, not just with the audience. And I think, you know, there is something that's beautiful about it. So yes, I mean, I was attracted to movies from a very young age, and I feel extremely privileged that I've been able to keep on making movies.
Cool.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.